There we go. Bingo. All right. Let's see. One more, y'all. And then we're going to go live. Let's see. Present. Share screen. That bad boy. Yep. Okay. All right. One more. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. I am your instructor, Pierre Hui, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience. Let me do an audio check. Testing. Yeah, okay. Good. All right, cool. All right. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I help barbers pass their exams, their theory, their practical, things of that nature. My niche has become the theory test. I study the book all the time, all day, every day. This wonderful thing. Today is Tuesday, but I missed you guys yesterday for MLK Day. So we're probably going to double up today. We will get into scientific concepts and we will get into hair care services. We'll probably just kind of double dip, mix them in together. And we will go for a little bit longer than we normally do. And with that being said, let me share my screen. So we will add to the stage. This is our CIB. For those that are new, CIB stands for Candidate Information Bulletin. This wonderful thing right here is what tells you what they are looking for as far as state board. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's read over it. That's the biggest thing. I want you to be as well versed in the CIB because that helps you study and that helps you be prepared and that helps your confidence when you're going into the test. So following outlines the scope of content covered by the NIC National Barber Style and Theory Examination. Make it a little smaller. The percentages represent the percentage of items from each domain. The examination is comprised of 110 items, meaning 110 questions, of which 100 items are weighted and contribute to the candidate's final score. What that means is they give you some points to start with. So thank you, State Board, because there's 110 questions. Let's talk about that real quick. So here's the thing. You got registered barber, you got master hair care. Registered barber, 110 questions. Registered barber, 60 questions. Master hair care is 110. Now, the thing about it is, don't be afraid of those added questions. Don't let that be the thing that constitutes whether you do registered barber or master hair care. I would recommend all of y'all do master hair care. Everybody do master hair care for your test. Those questions just start going into chemicals. But here's the thing. By the time you've done the studying that you need to do for the registered barber, you've done the studying that you need to do for the master hair care. You just need to add a few more chemical ideas to it. Okay. A few more things dealing with color, a few more things dealing with chemical processes as far as like products, the chemical makeup of the hair, and how all of those interact. But it's not that bad. You've done the same amount of studying, whether that's barber school, which is 1,500 hours, or whether that is OJT, which is 1,920 hours. We'll just round it up to 2,000 hours. So basically, you've done the studying anyway. Why wouldn't you do it for a few more questions? And then you only have 4 more on the practical. You only have 4 more domains. And all of them are pretty easy to do. Especially one of them is very, very, very easy to do. And that's predisposition and strand test, which is its own section. But I recommend everybody, when you start in your barbering journey, as far as like going to school and things like that, sign up for the master hair care. And the thing about it is you have more options once you graduate. Number one, you can pretty much go anywhere. You can work anywhere, salon, barbershop, your own thing, mobile, whatever. You can do all of that stuff with that license, with the master hair care license. And then on top of that, in my state of South Carolina, in 3 years, once you're eligible to become an instructor, you can do you can be a master hair care instructor versus being a registered barber instructor. Okay. All right. So last week we went over scientific concepts, 35%. Trying to move this out the way. There we go. All right. Which is 35% of your whole exam, what they're looking for. You got 5 points of reference, A, B, C, D, and E. A, B, C, D, E. And last time we started with infection control safety practices. We identified how disease and infection are caused and transmitted. We talked a little bit about applying principles of infection control. We're going to talk a little bit more about it today. And then we will also go to hair care services, which is 40%. And we will start at part A, client consultation, analysis, documentation for hair services, i.e., analyze condition of the client's hair and scalp, recognize conditions that will prohibit service as in contraindications. Okay, so we will get into these two topics today. Like I said, I missed you yesterday, so we'll we'll kind of put it together for both. All right. Hey, everybody on TikTok, how y'all doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome. Like I said, I'm your instructor, Pierre Huey, aka Mr. P. You can find me anywhere at Pierre Huey, Pierrerehouey. All right. Okay, so we will go to disease and infection. So I'm still studying this book until I get the new book in. They do have a new book in, and I am excited to see if they change anything for the better. I will be doing a review on the different books anyway. All right, so disease, infection. In my index, infection. There we go. Let's see if that's what we need, though. 63, 68. 63, 68. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's where we were. Okay, so the last video, we were talking about the types of bacteria. You got non-pathogenic, you got pathogenic. What's the difference? Non-pathogenic, harmless organisms, they may perform useful functions in the human body. Non-pathogenic bacteria help the body break down food, protect against infections, stimulate the immune system. Pathogenic or harmful, all right? They can cause disease or infection in humans when they invade the body. Shops and schools must maintain strict standards for cleaning and disinfecting at all times to prevent the spread of pathogenic microorganisms. Now, let's go a little bit further. Thank you for following me, Wayne Yelling Jr. All right. Again, we're talking about identifying how disease and infection are caused and transmitted. All right. So let's talk about how bacteria is transmitted. Different bacteria move in different ways. The term motility refers to self-movement. You got cocci, you got bacilli, you got spirilla. Cocci, those are the three classifications of pathogenic, which are the harmful bacteria. Okay, you got three classes. All right. Cocci, how are they transmitted? How do they move? They rarely demonstrate self-movement and are generally transmitted in the air, in dust, or within the substance in which they settle. Bacilli and spirilla are both capable of movement and use slender hair-like extensions called flagella for locomotion, meaning that's how they move. Okay. You may also hear people talk about cilia in reference to cell movement, but they are much shorter than flagella. Bacteria require relatively many more cilia to ensure self-movement. Both flagella and cilia move cells, but they have different types of motion. Bacteria with flagella move in a snake-like motion, while those with cilia move in a Rowan-like motion. Okay, so that's us talking about bacteria as far as how they are how they are transmitted. Okay, it's different ways that they are caused. So let's talk about that. When seen under a microscope, bacteria look like tiny bags. They generally consist of an outer cell wall that contains a liquid called protoplasm. All right, they manufacture their own food through what they absorb from the surrounding environment. They give off waste products, they grow, they reproduce. The life cycle consists of two phases. You got the active stage and you got the inactive stage. During the active stage, bacteria grow, they reproduce. They multiply best in warm, dark, damp, and dirty places. When conditions are favorable, bacteria grow and reproduce. When they reach their largest size, they divide into two new cells. This division is called binary fission. The cells that are formed as a result of binary fission are called daughter cells, and they are produced every 20 to 60 minutes, depending on the bacteria. For example, the infectious pathogen Staphylococcus aureus undergoes cell division every 27 to 30 minutes. When conditions become unfavorable, bacteria either die or become inactive. All right. Good afternoon, y'all. Thank you for joining. Inactive stage, certain bacteria, such as the bacteria that cause tetanus and botulism, among others, can form spores by coating themselves with wax-like outer shells during unfavorable conditions. These spores protect the bacteria and enable them to withstand long periods of famine, dryness, and unsuitable temperatures. In this condition, spores can be blown about and are not harmed by disinfectants, heat, or cold. They're not harmed by any of those. If favorable conditions such as a moist environment return, the spores can change into the active form and begin to grow and reproduce. And another thing about bacterial spores, disinfectants can't kill them. Not the spores. It can kill the bacteria, but if the bacteria is in a spore form or releases spores, it's not going to bother those. You have to sterilize everything when you're killing bacterial spores. Okay, just typical disinfectants ain't going to do it. All right. Okay. Let's see what else. All right. So we'll stop there for bacteria. And now we're going to talk about viruses. Okay. A virus is a submicroscopic particle that infects and resides in the cells of a biological organism. A virus is capable of replication only through taking over the host cell's reproductive function. Viruses are so small that they can only be seen under the most sophisticated and powerful microscopes. What do they cause? Common colds. They cause respiratory and gastrointestinal digestive tract infections. Some of the viruses that plague humans are measles, mumps, chickenpox, smallpox, rabies, yellow fever, hepatitis, polio, influenza, and HIV, which causes AIDS. All of those are viruses. Okay. Mango, what's up? What's up? How you doing? I see your content all the time. Thank you for joining. One difference between viruses and bacteria is that a virus can live and reproduce only by taking over other cells and becoming part of them, while bacteria can live and reproduce on their own. Another difference is that while bacteria infections can usually be treated with certain antibiotics, viral infections cannot, and viruses are hard to kill without harming the host cells in the process. When available, vaccinations can prevent viruses from growing in the body. There are many vaccines available for viruses, but not all viruses have vaccines. There are vaccines available for hepatitis B and varicella, the viruses that cause shingles, and you should strongly consider receiving these vaccines as well as vaccines for the seasonal flu and pneumonia. Now, real quick word about that. Let's see. Is it on here? I don't think I got it on here, but I'll say this. One of the old questions that they had, very high percentage question, is about which viruses have a vaccine. Is it Hep A, Hep B, Hep C, all of them, none of the above, that type thing. In this particular book, they say there's a vaccine for hepatitis B, right? Now, I've seen in some of the other books that they say, okay, there are vaccines for hepatitis A and B. It just depends on the question that they ask. But if they give you an answer that says hepatitis B and you write that down, you mark that down as your answer, do this. In the top right-hand corner, when you take your test, there's a comment box. You can comment that some books, certain books says that there's a vaccine for hepatitis A and B, and then certain ones say that there's a vaccine for hepatitis B. Now, here's the biggest thing. We're going off of what they want from you to show that you studied the book. There are plenty of people out here. There are plenty of doctors, physicians, things of that nature that's just going to say, oh, well, there's a vaccine for all three of them now, or something like that. That's not what they're looking for on this test. They're looking for whatever you studied. So if you are studying this book, and on page 69 of this book, they say there are vaccines available for hepatitis B, and you should strongly consider receiving these vaccines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You make a comment that that's in the book. Those one of those questions that are it's on the brink, meaning, again, every time they change the book, most of these questions remain the same, but there are a few that are on the brink that the answers change. Okay. And it should be structured as such within the test to reflect what we're studying in the book. Okay. So I'm gonna mark that one down. Okay. Because I seen in one of the books that they said there was a vaccine for Hep A and Hep B, things like that. Okay. Welcome to the live. Everybody on TikTok, welcome to the live. Everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, thank you for joining me. Okay. I'm your instructor, Pierre Huey, aka Mr. P. You can find me everywhere at Pierre Huey, PIERREHOUEY on all social media platforms. Okay. All right. So let's talk about hepatitis while we are there. And to talk about hepatitis is to talk about bloodborne pathogens as a whole. Okay. Disease-causing microorganisms that are carried in the body by blood or body fluids, such as hepatitis and HIV, they are called bloodborne pathogens. Okay, this is keeping with our scientific concepts. Point of reference A-1, identifying disease and infection. Identify how disease and infection are caused and transmitted. All right. Cool. Hepatitis, bloodborne virus, causes disease and can damage the liver. In general, it is difficult to contract hepatitis. However, hepatitis is easier to contract than HIV because hepatitis can be present in all body fluids of those who are infected. In addition, unlike HIV, hepatitis can live on a surface outside the body for long periods of time. For this reason, it is vital that all surfaces that a customer comes in contact with are thoroughly cleaned and disinfected. Okay. There are three types of hepatitis that are of concern for barbers. You got hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C. HBV is the most difficult to kill on the surface. So check the label of the disinfectant you use to be sure that the product is effective against HBV. Hep B and Hep C are spread from person to person through blood and less often through other body fluids. Okay. Notice in that paragraph, they did not tell you in this book which one has a vaccine. It said in the page previous that there are vaccines for hepatitis B. Okay. Other books, other studies I've seen, there are vaccines for hepatitis A and B. All right. Okay. But none for Hep C. Okay. All right. That's for hepatitis. Next, let's talk about HIV and AIDS. Human immunodeficiency virus, abbreviated HIV, is the virus that causes acquired immune deficiency syndrome, otherwise known as AIDS. It is a disease that breaks down the body's immune system. HIV spread from person to person through blood and less often through other body fluids, such as semen and vaginal secretions. A person can be infected with HIV for many years without showing symptoms. That is very, very important. There is a high percentage question. High percentage meaning there's a percentage of 75% or higher that they're going to ask you an AIDS type of question, HIV or AIDS type of question. Okay. A person, and let me say it again, a person can be infected with HIV for many years without showing symptoms, but testing can determine whether a person is infected within 6 months after exposure to the virus. Sometimes people who are HIV positive have never been tested and do not even know they have the potential to infect others. HIV spread mainly through the sharing of needles by intravenous drug users and by unprotected sexual contact. Less commonly, HIV is spread through accidents with needles in healthcare settings. The virus is less likely to enter the bloodstream through cuts and sores. Holding hands, hugging, kissing, sharing food, or using household items such as the telephone or toilet seats do not spread HIV. Okay. If you accidentally cut a client's skin, the tool will be contaminated with whatever might be in the client's blood, including HIV. You should not continue to use the implement without cleaning and disinfecting it. Continuing to use a contaminated implement without cleaning and disinfecting it puts you and others in the barbershop at risk of infection. Okay. All right. We got 2 more pathogens we're going to talk about, talking about disease and infection caused and transmitted. And then from there, we will talk a little bit about hair care services. Okay. All right. Fungi or fungi. Damn it. I'm going to get this pronunciation right, y'all. Y'all just bear with me. Some days it's fungi, some days it's fungi, but I'm looking at the pronunciation in the book. All right. Fungi, singular, fungus, are single-celled organisms that grow in irregular masses that include molds, mildews, and yeast. They can produce contagious diseases such as ringworm. So ringworm is a fungus, okay? It is not a virus. It is not a bacteria. It is a fungus, all right? Mildew, another fungus, affects plants or grows on inanimate objects, but does not cause human infections in the barbershop. What I will say about mildew, though, mildew can accumulate along if you have moisture that you can't see, that you haven't dried or anything like that, along like the floors and like the corners and things like that, especially if you've been in an older building, mildews can accumulate. Now, that's not going to affect you as far as like a barber or something like that, but I have seen it. I have seen it in certain buildings that, you know, you got a lot of buildings that's been built 60s, 70s, and like as far as like the plazas and things like that. And I've seen people just kind of slap paint over it and it don't do anything to it. The mildew still grows. Like I said, you know, doors, especially in the South, you got a lot of places that are like near the woods or near areas where there's a lot of nature, trees, there's a lot of plants, there's a lot of bushes, things like that behind the building. So it's easier for mildews and fungi to grow along things like that, and you don't know it. It pays to have somebody this is for my barbershop owners, okay? This is what I'm talking about. If you're trying to get a barbershop and you go and you're looking at the building and you're inspecting the building and all this stuff, it looked like it got fresh paint and all this good stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go get you an inspector. Go get you an inspector. Yes, it's going to cost you $500. That $500 means that it will stop you from having to pay $10,000 or $15,000 or however many $1,000 to take care of mildew. Mildew is a very big problem. Mold and mildew, both of them are funguses that you have to deal with one way or another. And if state board come in and they inspecting and they're really inspecting and they taking a look at everything that they're supposed to, and they looking for molds and they looking for mildews and they see signs of it, just even if it's just an inch of a corner and they see a little bit of mildew or they see a little bit of mold, they know that they can spray it. If it hasn't spread already underneath your floors and on the other ends of some of your plaza buildings, if you are connected to another building. I'm telling you, I've seen this before. I've seen this problem before. I've seen mitigation companies. Mitigation companies are the people that come in and fix all that. They're going to pick your floor up and they're going to cure the wood or treat the wood and just make sure there ain't no mildew going and all this stuff. You better hope that it don't spread a lot because you caught it, number one, or you avoid the situation altogether. So that's just me going on a quick little tangent about mildew and molds, which are fungi, but something to be aware of, okay? You're probably not going to see it where your station is. You're probably not going to see it on a wall in front of you and things like that. But some of those back corners or on the other side of that building, if it's there, you got to address it. You got to see about it, okay? So once again, for my entrepreneurs, if you're trying to get your own shop, get that inspection report so you know. That way you can cover yourself, especially if state board come in and they notice it. They might tell you you can't even work there. They might say you can't even open up there until the mildew or the mold is getting taken care of. Matter of fact, if you the type that you got like a shed outside of your house and things like that, Just be aware of that as well. Especially if you had that shed for a while and it's been out there in your backyard and it's been out there, you know, like I said, around plant life, or you got your yard and you got, you know, grass, dirt, all that stuff underneath this unit in a way that the mildew and the mold can occur a lot more frequently, or there's a higher chance that the mildew or the mold could occur. All right, be aware of all that stuff. All right. What's up, Shelby? How you doing? Welcome to the live. All right. Most frequently encountered fungal infection resulting from hair services is Tinea barbae, also known as barber's itch. All right. Tinea barbae is a superficial fungal infection caused by a variety of dermatophytes, which are fungi that require keratin, which is hard protein, for growth. They commonly affect the skin. It's primarily limited to the bearded areas of the face and neck or around the scalp. This infection occurs almost exclusively in older adolescent and adult males. A person with Tinea barbae may have deep inflamed or non-inflamed patches of skin on the face or the nape of the neck. Tinea barbae is similar to Tinea capitis, which is a fungal infection of the scalp characterized by red papules or spots at the opening of hair follicles. Barbers must clean and disinfect clipper blades to avoid spreading scalp and skin infections. The risk of spreading skin and scalp infections can be reduced by first removing all visible hair and debris for clippers, followed by thorough cleaning and disinfection of the non-electrical parts. You can use compressed air instead of a stiff brush to remove hair and debris from clippers before cleaning and disinfecting them. Turn the clippers on before applying the air to dislodge as much hair as possible during the procedure. Always refer to the manufacturer's directions for proper cleaning and disinfecting methods and recommendations. All right, quick word about that. I tend to do all of that before the cut, after the cut, and during the cut. Make sure your clients see you do it. And what I mean is, if when they come in and they sit down, you drape them up, you put out everything on there, protect whatever protection you need to put over your client before you start the service. When I turn my clippers on, before I do, I will turn the client so they can see, whether they can see directly or from their peripheral vision, that they see me clean these clippers off, which I've already done when I finished my previous client. Clean the clippers off, get my barbicide, spray the clippers, turn them on, spray them, let them see all of that stuff, okay? While I'm cutting their hair. Especially, this helps anyway because the clipper blades are going to get hot. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn them towards where my clippers, where I'm doing the disinfection. I'm going to let them see it during the cut as well. And then when I'm done, before I give them the mirror, I'm going to clean the clippers off and I'm going to spray them off. I'm going to let them see that 3 separate times at least. You have seen me clean these clippers off. You have seen me brush off the hair that is yours. You have seen me disinfect over and over and over again. You cannot say I did not disinfect these clippers because I did it 3 times. And then on top of that, a lot of times in between clients, the client that's coming next just saw me do all that. And then I'm going to do it all over again before I start. So you can't say, oh, he didn't clean his clippers and I got this problem because he didn't clean his clippers. If you have a problem, it's not going to be because of my clippers being unclean. Okay. All right. Next one, parasites. Our last one as far as disease and infection, all right, being caused, transmitted. All right. Parasites, organisms that grow, feed, shelter on, or inside another organism, referred to as a host, while contributing nothing to the survival of that organism. They must have a host to survive. Parasites can live on or inside of humans and animals. They can also be found in food, on plants, in trees, and in water. Humans can acquire internal parasites by eating fish or meat that has not been properly cooked. External parasites that affect humans on or in the skin include ticks, lice, fleas, and mites. Services should never be performed on a customer with visible signs of a parasitic infection. Always refer the client to a physician for treatment. Following are 2 types of parasites commonly encountered in the barbering environment, and I have not seen any in my ongoing, well, almost 30 years of barbering. I have not seen any. Okay, we're gonna knock on wood for that. Knock, knock, knock. All right, Head lice are a type of parasite responsible for contagious diseases and conditions. One condition caused by an infestation of head lice is called pediculosis capitis. I thought they had more about that. Yeah, one condition is called pediculosis capitis. And then second, you have scabies. It's also a contagious skin disease and is caused by the itch mite, which burrows under the skin. Contagious diseases and conditions caused by parasites should only be treated by a doctor. Only by a doctor, y'all. Go to a doctor if you see any of this shit. Thank you. Contaminated countertops, tools, and equipment should be thoroughly cleaned and then disinfected with an EPA-registered disinfectant. Y'all should know what that is. EPA-registered disinfectant for the time recommended by the manufacturer or with a bleach solution for 10 minutes. That is a high percentage question. All right. Okay, so that does it for scientific concepts today. And as promised, especially with it being one of my favorite days of the week, which is Tuesday, I do my domains corresponding to the days of the week. There are 4 domains on the CIB. And I do on Mondays, scientific concepts, Tuesdays, hair care services, Wednesday, facial hair and skincare services, and Thursday, implements, tools, and equipment. Okay. All right. Next, for those that can see the screen, we're on hair care services, which accounts for 40% of what they're looking for on your exam. 40% of those questions are going to deal with hair care services. Now, think about this: between hair care services and scientific concepts, 35%, hair care services 40%. If you have a strong understanding and are familiar enough between these two, that is 75% of your grade right there. Okay. Facial hair and skincare services, implements, tools, and equipment, they have more what I like to call educated guess answers. You have a very high percentage of making the right educated guess for those two. These two, however, you have to be very familiar. You have to be well studied. You have to be well versed in the concepts and things of that nature for you to arrive at the right answer. Okay. So it pays to study these, and it pays to have the more knowledge that you have of these, the better. They seem tedious. They seem harder to study. They seem harder to retain. You can do it as long as you actually consistently study and you just break it down into pieces. Break it down into small pieces and you'll be good. All right. And then, of course, if you're using the CIB as a guide to get you where you need it, where what you need to study and be familiar with, it's only going to help you even more. That's why I study in regards to the CIB. I don't just study just straight throughout the book. I don't think that is effective. I don't think it's high percentage, but going about it this way, I do. Okay. All right. So just like we did point of reference A, we're doing point of reference A for here. All right. Last time we worked with client consultation, analysis, documentation for haircare services. We did analyzing the conditions of the client's hair and scalp as an assessment. We recognize conditions that would prohibit service as in contraindications. What we are going to do today, we're going to talk about determining services and or products. Okay, so let's find that section. Hair care services. I'm going to go to table of contents for that one. Okay, so let's start with products. And the best product to start with is shampoo. Most of the health that's going on with your hair starts at the bowl. So let's talk about shampoo, hair and scalp cleansing products. Let's see. 7. Okay, here we go. All right. First off, Treatment of hair and scalp. It includes shampooing, scalp massage, conditioning, and special treatments for hair and scalp conditions. When performed correctly, these services are relaxing and effective and help to ensure the health of the client's hair and scalp. Providing such professional services can also increase client retention and referrals and helps to promote a positive reputation for the barber and the barber shop. And another thing too, you can get a little bit of extra change on top of your services that you already do. You can increase your ticket with shampooing and conditioning services, and they go a long way. And another thing too, the hair cuts better anyway when the hair is clean and when it's conditioned. All right, just something to think about. Okay, you should study and have a thorough understanding, because analyzing the client's hair and scalp helps to identify conditions that may prohibit service, i.e. contraindications. 2, professionally delivered scalp massage during shampooing and treatments provides hygienic, circulatory, and relaxation benefits to the client. And 3, special services such as electrotherapy or light therapy treatments require advanced knowledge and skills to perform correctly and safely. All right. Shampooing the hair before cutting. I'm just going to confirm. The book is just going to confirm what I just said. All right. Shampooing the hair before cutting ensures that you are working with clean hair that is free from oils or products that can interfere with cutting tools and haircut results, like wave grease. Quit doing that. If you know you coming to the shop on Thursday, don't put no wave grease in Wednesday night. That don't make any sense. Why is that a good idea? Why is it a good idea to put in product before you come get your haircut? I have people that do that. That is the strangest thing in the world. Don't do that. You're messing up my clippers, and you're making your cut more difficult to do. And if I got access to a shampoo bowl, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to shampoo and condition your hair, and I'm going to charge you for that. So I'm going to put that on top of your ticket. Just saying, leave the product out your hair the day you know you come to get a haircut. A lot of y'all all my clients make appointments anyway. So y'all should already know what's going on days before you come in to the shop. You should know, all right, I can't put none of this product in my head for my haircut today, especially on a Saturday. So I really don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear, oh, well, I had to go to work. No, I had this event first. No, you come in Saturday morning. Out of anybody, you should not have no product in your hair. All right. Follow-up conditioning treatments after the shampooing help to keep hair in a healthy and manageable condition for the client and the barber. It is your responsibility as a barber to know how shampoos and conditioners affect the hair and scalp so that you can select or recommend the right products for your clients. As in, if somebody does have a bunch of wave grease and I got to shampoo it out, regular shampoo is not going to be the most effective. What will be the most effective for that? Clarifying shampoo. Okay. Clarifying shampoo is chemically made and formulated to remove all these different types of pomades or wave grease or regular grease or moisturizer or leave-in conditioner. Is chemically made to remove all of that out of your hair anyway. Okay. And then if you are doing that type of shampoo, there's a certain type of conditioner that you need to put in that's going to get the hair back to the moisture level that it needs to be, as far as just like its internal oiliness and things like that. All right. As a professional barber, you need to take the time to read the specific information found on product labels or manufacturers' websites. All right. There is a table that shows a general guideline for selecting shampoos and conditioners for different hair types and textures. Y'all, this is very, very important. You will have high percentage questions that will ask about shampoos and conditioners on your exam. They are littered throughout the exam. Just you knowing about selecting the right shampoos and selecting the right conditioners and knowing the differences between all of those will increase the amount of familiarity that you will have, so you can make the best guess if you don't know for sure. But if you're breaking it down and you steadily and consistently studying, you should have an idea of what the exact right answer would be. All right. So let's talk about matching products to hair types. Okay. And then that'll finish everything off for today's lesson, which we put it together twice. Thank you guys for joining the live. Thank you guys that stayed on here. Thank you guys that are paying attention. And specifically, thank you guys that are taking this information and applying it. And y'all are going to be ready for y'all test and get y'all license. When y'all do, I'm going to need a testimonial from all of y'all. So don't just sit there and send me a text and just be like, yeah, P, appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. I passed. Yeah, now I'm gone. No. I need a testimonial. As a matter of fact, I need an interview after you take your test. Right after you pass it, I need an interview. I digress. All right. Hair type. You got straight hair. Let's say your hair texture is fine. You need a volumizer shampoo, a detangler if necessary, protein treatments, or a fine hair shampoo. Okay. If your hair type is straight and your hair texture is medium, you need a pH balance shampoo, a finishing rinse, and protein treatments. If your hair type is straight and coarse, you need moisturizing shampoo, leave-in conditioner, and moisturizing treatments. Next, if your hair type is wavy, curly, or extremely curly, in that range. If it's all of those and fine, you need a light leave-in conditioner, you need protein treatments, you need spray-on thermal protectors. All right. If it's wavy, curly, extremely curly, and your hair texture is medium, you need a pH balance shampoo, a leave-in conditioner, and a moisturizing treatment. If it's all of those types of curly or wavy and it's coarse, you need leave-in conditioner and protein and moisturizing treatments. Now, if your hair type is dry and damaged, we talking perms, color treated, relaxers, blow drying, sun, as in somebody that works in the sun all day, that works outside and you're in the sunlight all the time, or somebody using hot irons, or you applying a lot of heat to your stuff all the time. All right. If it's dry and damaged and fine, you need gentle cleansing shampoo, light leave-in conditioner, protein and moisturizing repair treatments, and spray-on thermal protection. If your hair texture is medium under dry and damaged, you need shampoo for chemically treated hair, moisturizing conditioner, and protein and moisturizing repair treatments. If it is dry and damaged and coarse, you need deep moisturizing shampoo for damaged hair, leave-in conditioner, and deep conditioning treatments and hair masks. Okay. So that table, what you can do, and if anybody's studying with me in the book, it's on page 277. You can just take a picture of the matching products and the hair type, and you can start there for diagnosing what you're gonna need. You can do that. You can put one up, like I got one of those up. I got one of those tables up at my barbershop. And guess what? That also applies to if somebody comes in and they got short hair like mine. Guess what? You can still put together a plan of the products and the hair types of what you need as far as a shampoo and what you need as far as a conditioner. You might need a protein treatment. You might need a protein conditioner. You might need moisturizing repair treatments, things like that. It is your job to study this and to have that figured out, not just for the exam, but for real life. Guess what? As a barber, if a client has come to you for the first time and you're able to determine all of that stuff, guess what? They are going to trust you more than the person that just walks in and is not the client that walks in and sits in your chair and the barber is not as knowledgeable. That's the difference. That's the difference between somebody that's been coming to me for 12, 13 years and somebody that may go to a barber for 1, 2, 3 years and then switch their barber. And another thing too, this for you barbers and stylists that are just starting, you probably like 8 months in, a year in, a month in, things like that. If you are showing your clients that's coming to you or that's giving you a chance that you're doing everything that you can to learn about products, to learn about hair types, to learn about treatments, to learn about the health of the hair, things of that nature, if they see that you are actively making an effort to learn even more and you know more the next time that they come versus the last time that they come, they're going to make for a very loyal client. Okay. That's something else. That's one of those that's one of those that's one of those intangible things that you may not pay attention to at first, but that will be one of those differences that somebody can't quite put their finger on. Okay, what is it about this person versus this person? Well, this person is actively concerned about my hair, the health of my hair, and they're always trying to figure out more information. That is huge. I cannot tell you enough how many times I've had people stay with me just because of that. My cut, it may be somebody that can cut their hair better than I can, but they will stick with me because I care about their hair types. I care about matching products. I care about the health of their hair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. With that being said, we have went 45 minutes. I love it. Typically, I try to keep these sessions to 15 minutes because of the average attention span. Most people paying attention about 15 minutes and then they're not paying any more attention. They just check out, things like that. So I try to honor that. But that being said, I appreciate everybody that's on here. I appreciate everybody that's joined me. I will be adding an email list, or I will just be restructuring everything. The public study will still be free, of course. It just may be you have to, I need that email for you to log in and that type of thing. Okay. And if you want to, if you are in a position you have not subscribed to my marketing, to my emails, things like that, you can join my email list from the description. If you or anybody that you know can benefit from my services of passing the barbering exam, you probably know somebody that's been failing a bunch. You probably know somebody that started their journey in barber school. Everybody knows somebody that has some interaction when it comes to barber school. Okay. If they have a problem studying, if they're a person that don't study, things of that nature, they don't want to look at the book. They hate looking at the book, things like that. I'm your guy. They can come study with me. All they got to do is take their phone, set it to the side. They can just listen to me talk. And they can be cutting hair, or they can be going about their day. They can be driving in car somewhere, all of that stuff. This will be their method of study to get the information that they need to be ready for that barber exam. Okay. And like I said, everybody, if you can sign up for Master Haircare, sign up for Master Haircare. You will thank me later. It'll save you a lot of time down the road. And you'll be looking at it like, man, I should have did that anyway. Okay. With that being said, this is the free public study. I do have a private paid class. It is pre-recorded material. We only deal with high percentage things. That is things that are 75% or higher that's going to be on your test. My state is South Carolina, but a lot of this CIB and the contents apply to a lot more states, probably I say 37, 38 out of 50 states. Okay, so this would still work. I am venturing into looking into other states. That'll be part of the paid class as well. The paid class is called Past Barber Theory. Okay. Again, it is pre-recorded content. But I have a lot of pre-recorded content. So I have interviews with other test takers. I have interviews with people that have passed the test, that have passed both the tests. You get to get their insights. You also get more focused study when it comes to things out the book. So we concentrate to the most pertinent, like I said, 75% or higher information that's in there. We go over the CIB in detail. We go over any other talking points dealing with the test, things to do the day before, things to do the week before, things to do a month before, things, all of that stuff is in my paid class. You can find it anywhere where you can find me, which is at Pierre Huey, PIERREHOUEY. Of course, the links are in my bio, all that stuff. You can find all that. All right. And as a second added word, I am a member of Will Roundtree's REI 90 program. It is a real estate investing program. It is my exit strategy as far as cutting hair. Like I said, I'm going on 30 years. My next step is real estate investing, and real estate investing as a means for me to build wealth and eventually exit out of the industry. My goal for you guys is the same thing. I want you to be in a position where you cut hair because you want to, not because you have to. And what's the best way to get there? Use your hair cutting income to get you in position with your credit and with your taxes that you can get into real estate investing. And the best way to do that is to jump into Will Roundtree's REI 90 program. You can look him up anywhere, all that stuff. In the meantime, I will be the conduit in between you having your barber's license and you getting in position, I have business classes and investing classes that'll get you through that middle step that should put you in position that you can get into REI 90. Trust me, you will not regret it. You will thank me a million times over. As many times as I thank people that put me on to REI 90, you'll thank me. Okay. That being said, I'm your instructor, Pierre Huey, aka Mr. P. The P is for patience, perseverance, passion, practical, etc., etc., etc. All right. Wonderful Tuesday session. Y'all have a great day. See you tomorrow. Peace.